How about now? How loud's the machine? You guys hear me now? So cool. Just getting things going. A little bit stressful putting together a stream and trying to machine, but we'll figure it out. Is the audio horrible? Because the machine's kind of loud. And we'll also get a little bit louder, but hopefully there's some compensation there. Does someone want to paste the stream link in the Discord if anyone from the Discord is here? Uh, just in the general section where I just posted. That'd be awesome. This one's Japanese. You guys can see the inside view. Cool. Yeah, there's not much I'll be able to do about that. Maybe if I get a mic that's facing away from the machine, but awesome. Yeah, so I was pumping out a whole bunch yesterday, and just slowly working away at them when I have time. But I thought I'd do a stream, and yeah, there should be a Discord link in the live stream description. Um, just check that out. It should be it's a public Discord. There's also a private one, but they're both connected. Handycam 3000, yeah, cool. Yeah, and I've got the noise cancellation on here, so I'm not like dying in front of this thing, but it's actually not that loud. It's just kind of like a hiss from the hydraulic motors and the fans. I could probably even replace the fans and it would get way quieter because the fans seem kind of worn out. All right, should we start? Yeah, it has a hydraulic chuck on it, but I'm the auto feeder. I don't have one on this, so yeah, let's run one. It's pretty easy. So basically, uh, I'm just setting it on the end of the tool. You can kind of see there, and then it just touches it, and then I press go, and it runs the program, and then it puts the tool back there, so I can just pull it out and align it again. So I'll just double check that. Good. You see how long this camera lives inside there? Well, who knows? Yeah, let's go here. Start one. Try and do too many things at once. Why are they so good? I don't know. That's thanks for that compliment. Try to make them as good as I can. Yeah, I was thinking of getting like one of those bar pullers that is spring loaded and it just rolls over top of it and then pulls it out and then it can unroll. So it's like a passive one. That or making one. That could be a fun video. They're like $900 for two bearings and a spring. Does this have Wi-Fi? No, it doesn't really have anything. So I talked to it through UART, so RS-232. You guys hear that? A little bit of noise going on. Power for this machine? Actually, I lucked out pretty big in this shop. This shop has 600 volt three phase, and then it's got a transformer that brings it down to 208, like 17 kVA or something like that. So yeah, I can run 600 volt machines, but this one's actually switched over to 208. Yeah, I think it would be a cool video. Like, it's not super complicated, and you know, the ones that are out there are like $1,000 for. I'm sure it's totally worth $1,000 for any machine shop, any day. But for me, that's just like it would be a fun project or something like this. How much did I pay for it? I paid close to 6,000 Canadian for it, and it came with like so much tooling, and I, the chuck alone and the collets were probably worth like a couple $1,000s. And I actually lucked out, and I had a friend of mine help me move it, so that only cost $1,000, which is normally one of the bigger expenses. But moving it was fun, and that was part of the adventure for sure. So it takes 2 minutes and 50 seconds to run one of them, which is, see there, it just finished off, just parted it. It's not optimized at all, and I'm just babying the machine, so you could probably get it down to 2 minutes or less. So that's one. I've just been leaving them down there as I go. There's a foot plate here that releases the chuck, and then I can pull it out, touch the piece, clamp the chuck again, and then run another one. So it's about 3 minutes. Screen is still going? Not seeing any comments now. Oh, there we go. So on the back, so I haven't decided yet. I've made, on the back, there is a little nub. It's not going to focus, but you can see it. And right now I've set up, I can't show you, but it's on the other side of the shop. I've set up one of my small belt grinders with a little jig that lets me just push it into the belt and turn it, and that will just file off the bottom or sand off the bottom, grind off the bottom. And it works, and it takes a few seconds, but I'm also thinking maybe shearing it off, because that'd be super quick, and that'd be kind of a cool thing to do. The other thing is I could do a second process in the machine, but I haven't decided that yet. It's not the easiest thing to hold from this end, so yeah. But I've got it. The grinder works pretty well. I haven't looked up the working hours yet. Probably a lot, but the machine was like not super dirty. Wasn't that bad. Maybe it had been cleaned a few times. Should a bunch of people said hey here. Kind of haven't live streamed in so long, so this is there could be some things happening. Hello from Poland. Cool. Hello. Hello from Germany. How's it going? Yeah, it's kind of the middle of the day here in North America, so I'm sure some people will be working. Maybe some people throw it up at work or something, but I'm sure the weekend's better, but this is when I'm building this. So I just found a listing online, and when I went to go see it, the guy had it in an un-air conditioned barn, and it was winter, and it was about -15 when I went to go see it, Celsius. I probably won't be as efficient because I'll be answering questions and stuff, but you guys can let me know if I'm not paying attention. Let's see. I have not realigned it. I have not done any precision measurements or anything like that. Seems to be working. I mean, I've just measured this, and they're all coming out exactly the same, but I haven't done any like, you know, alignment of anything really. So awesome, all the way across the world. Um, Not an educated machinist. Um, I went to school. I did something called a Bachelor of Technology in Automotive Technology. Um, but then I went on to do my master's in mechanical engineering, which was really electrical engineering, sort of. But I did do a little bit of CNCing in my undergrad, but it was more because I wanted to, so I kind of like hung out at the shop a little bit more and used the machines just kind of for fun and like after hours when people weren't using them. So that was, I kind of pushed myself to do that. But no, I don't claim to be a machinist or have any sort of, you know, trying to do things within tolerance. I just kind of do things to get them done. So I have the manual machines on the other side that are pretty worn out, but they get me by. The noise canceling is fine, but it doesn't work amazing. I can still hear it just fine. It's just it's kind of letting more high frequencies through, actually, which is kind of strange. Um, but it's not that loud. Like all day yesterday, I had it on, and it's just kind of like a hum. Yeah, I'm not. I don't. It's not really a restoration. It was just kind of like a really good deal for a machine that I could move without spending, you know, $5,000 just to move it in the like. So if it ended up not working, then like I could have retrofitted or done something. I know that it's small enough that I can work on it without doing anything crazy. But I like the fact that I just like it's saved, and I think someone would have bought it for sure. Just finished work, seeing, and now you're watching more seeing. Sweet. I do the same thing. Go home and watch machining videos after machining some stuff. And the bars are only a foot long. I had them cut to a foot just because I could have probably done 2 feet, but you know, just learning. So hey, from Detroit, yeah, you're not too far from me. I'm um, only about 2.5 hours from Detroit. I was thinking of optimizing it. I didn't see how the stream was going to go. It's only 200 of them right now, so there's only been about 200. Shouldn't say only. That's like pretty awesome, but I'm only doing 200 right now, and then maybe I'll optimize it and for like future orders and things like that. Um, yeah, I have to manually advance it. I am the bar feeder. Uh, there are like passive ones you can put in this, but I'm sure I might do that at some point. So I was making thousands of these, but this is kind of fun, a little fun experiment. 200. Nice. Programming with 5 axis. What kind of part are you programming, or is that classified? The shop is basically full. When I first got in, I had no idea how I was going to fill it up, but now I'm semi-organized to the point where I can do projects and videos. That was the major thing that I was dealing with. It's anytime I had time to do something on my own for my own personal videos, I'd be like, well, I have to do that in the shop first, and that just kept happening. So it's full and slowly being organized, and I'm really happy with it. To the scale of 1 to 10, how difficult to retrofit the controls? I didn't really have to do any retrofitting, so it has a built-in serial connection. RS-232. So I had to get a USB cable. I had to fix the one it came with. And then I had to do a whole bunch of debugging and reading the manual to figure out what the heck was going on. And it was still being weird, but now it seems to be working great. And for some reason, the line numbers were slowing down the actual transfer. So I was trying to describe this in the comments, but like the transfer was actually slowing down. It wasn't just that the program was longer; it was that like each character was taking longer. So I took those out, and now transfer's just fine. Yeah, just playing around with the CAM software, I'm sure you'll figure it out if you're good at CAD. It's a trial and error. That's like seeing what looks right. Oh, the webcam's folding up in there. It's just a cheap old one, so I'm not too concerned about it. Yeah, the machine is older than I am by a few years. This machine was making parts when I wasn't even alive yet, which is incredible. Thanks. Yeah, it's funny. You see the videos, like, the videos aren't bad on YouTube, but it'll just be like someone being like, this is how I do this on my machine. It's like 2 minutes of holding a camera. And I think it's kind of cool to make like a little bit of a story about it and do fun stuff like that. So, and a lot of them are like, this machine's for sale and it's not powered up and they just walk around and it's all dirty and half apart. So it's kind of cool to see it. Wow. Another person from Poland. How's it going? For a living, I call myself a contract engineer. I was trying to figure out what the name of it for a long time. Uh, Basically, what I was doing is I would take small contracts and build maybe a circuit board or some part or something for someone. And I was also doing my own Kickstarters and things, which has slowed down a lot. So yeah, and so I have a few people that I do stuff for, and that's what keeps me going. Thanks, thanks for Bill. Did I say that right? That's going to be used in future projects. Yeah. So I've always had like a, I've always wanted to. No crashes. I've always wanted to make like my own flashlight. Like I always carry stuff. I haven't made one yet. This is just an off-the-shelf one. But I have a cool idea for a flashlight that is totally unique in every other flashlight out there. And I kind of want to make that as a real thing and do like prototype and do a small run and then maybe eventually have them manufactured somewhere else. But do a small run on my own. At max load, I think it can do. I have the manual. Ugh, can't remember now. I think it's on a 60 amp fuse. uh, it says so. The main motor can do 7.5 kilowatts continuous for 30 minutes, and the power consumption says 18 kVA. So there you go. Oh wait, yeah, yeah, that's the 1A. So if anyone else has any questions about the machine, I've got the answers right here. Let's see. Falling behind here. You're running 27-year-old Hyundai lathe. Yeah, I know, crashes are just, they're the worst. If it was really out of alignment, I would honestly, I would probably hire someone. Me personally, not saying you should. This machine, and it might be worth it to have a pro come in and just have a look at it, because now that it's working, it might be worth it to have someone just give it a little tune up that really knows what they're doing. I have an electronics project, a small one. I'm trying to figure out the video, but it's I don't know if you know, spoilers. I don't know if you know the Adafruit Feather. Well, I always use those in like really quick projects for things, but I always end up like soldering on a voltage regulator because I'm powering them from like 3S LiPos and things like that. So I'm making a board that makes it really easy to connect the battery to it and then like run relays and stuff. But it's still in the Feather tripler form factor, um, because like you can just grab one out of the drawer. You don't have to solder anything. You plug in all these things and you have like basically a wireless solenoid or timer or something. Because that's a lot of what I've done is needed a solenoid that could be either triggered remotely or do some special sensor measurement or something and trigger a couple solenoids. I have nothing against upgrading this machine at all, other than the fact that I have so many projects, and I know it would be quite an ordeal. Um, but and the fact that it's working right now, I don't really see a need. But there is definitely some improvements with using more modern controllers and things like that. So I can see why people do it. It would probably cost me twice, like probably close to twice as much as I paid for the machine to retrofit it. So maybe when I like pay off the machine and these spinners are helping. By the way, if anyone viewing here hasn't gotten one yet, they're still at $16, and I still think they're worth it at that cost because I'm not making too many of them. But that's my opinion, and I'm biased. Um, yeah, I haven't been thinking of doing Kickstarters in a while because I'm kind of okay with like self funding. I mean, these were kind of like a little pre-order, but they were done. Like I knew there wasn't any more development. I just thought I would sell them as a fun little thing, and not necessarily will take off or sell millions of them. But I have a little modification to them that is going to be pretty cool, but I won't tell anybody about it yet. You'll see it when you get them. You think the volumetric display was the coolest? Thanks. Yeah, I really like that project. I wish there was a way to make a version 2 without it being $100,000 with like clear OLED displays or transparent OLED displays, but that's where we are right now. At some point, maybe. Yeah, so back here behind me, I have, oh, you can't see it. I have a 1981 Volvo 242, so it's a two-door that I've had for 10 years and is still in the project phase, and I'm finally cutting the floor out and about to replace it. I upgraded, I fully rebuilt the engine and upgraded the internals and everything like that. And now, yeah, that's the next project, and I'm going to do some cool videos with it. I'm going to add some really like modern tech inside of the car, so I think that'd be awesome. The Suburban is just kind of, it's a car that's been in my family my whole life, the same age as I am, and I will never, it will always be in our family until it's a pile of rust, which hopefully never happens. The underlying story, well, you'll just kind of have to see. It's developing. It's a developing story. I don't even know where it's going really. But I do think it'll start to make a little bit more sense. But that's not really any spoiler. That's just like a given, hopefully. Yeah, so it's not the feather itself, it's just the tripler board that lets you put 3 feathers on. Because instead of it being basic, it actually will have a few components on it. Components that I basically always put on the board, solder by hand when I'm doing something like last minute that a job just needs to get done. All right, so my measurements, this is the remaining stock. I can probably get one out of this, but I'm gonna do this in a second process because there's enough here, but it's just a little bit iffy in the chuck. So I'm going to process all the offcuts at the end. There's only going to be 20 of them. So when I'm putting in a new piece of stock, um, switch over to rapid here because the piece is in the way. You can see in the other one. Move it out of the way. Slide it in. This is why bar feeders are amazing. Bring it back down. Touch it off again. And we're good to go. And I'll take one out of here. The chips haven't built up too much. Yesterday I actually used the chip conveyor. There's one fresh out of the machine. Oh, I'm going to go back to program, starting, and let's see, where was I? Shop tour. Yeah, maybe I should do an updated shop tour video. Actually, yeah, that'd be a fun live stream if I start figuring out my schedule a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, I do all right. I mean, the, the business side of things are they're not as interesting. So I will I'll start making some cool stuff and we'll see how it goes. The main hang-up has been getting the shop in order. Yeah, I love like retrofitting cars with new stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I work with Mark on a whole bunch of stuff. So like I'm part of the team, but I'm remotely. So I help like brainstorm and I'll do the odd thing. Yeah, Mark is like 100% in the complete middle of. He is like the lead on all designs. I don't know how he does so much. Oh, really? Um, yeah, bar feeders are really finicky. Huh. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be processing that many parts. I don't dream of becoming a CNC machine shop. Even like these spinners, the pricing structure is to be like one day no one will want to buy one, so they'll just be too expensive. I like to keep making new products or like cool things. Um, at some point, I'll probably come up with something that I like. Maybe the flashlight I uh, might be like a full thing that sells a ton, and or some fun like hacking tools or something that I've been thinking of. You know, I won't be probably needing a bar feeder for a while. At least not like one mounted to the machine. Probably just one on one of the tools. The webcam is it's not getting covered and stuff yet. So that's pretty cool. I don't think. Oh, thanks, Isaac. Um, yeah, I had honestly, I realized the other day that I had always wanted to make like films and movies, even since I was a kid, and that kind of disappeared through my teens and when I was in university. I thought maybe I wanted to be, well, I did. I wanted to be like an engineer. I wanted to do things and make cool stuff. But the filmmaking came back, and it's way more accessible now. It was not accessible at all when I was a kid to like make fun videos. Um, so now I'm reclaiming that and having some fun with my storytelling and my videos and making stuff and then doing a story behind them, basically. You want to make something like the HTC module? Yeah, you should go for it. They're very useful. That's something I could potentially bring back, but again, once I get like set up, it's difficult trying to ship like individual things, especially when you're just yourself in a shop. So if you get like a couple orders a week or something, it can be pretty disruptive, which is why I love doing pre-orders and then doing them all and then they're done. But at some point, maybe I'll have an employee or someone helping out, um, and then that'll be easier. And I was thinking of doing like merch and stuff, but I want it to be cool. I want it to be different. I don't want it to just be like t-shirts. Like I want to do like a cool pocket t-shirt because pockets are very useful. Um, but yeah, I have some cool ideas for maybe some merch at some point. But again, shipping stuff. Yeah, there's got to be some pretty cool diving torches already, right? Um, but the thing I'm making actually could be useful for scuba diving. But I don't really have a lot of details about it yet. I've been working on it for a couple of years, but I've got a prototype made. It doesn't look anything like a flashlight, but that's all I'll say. We'll have to collect those before they get buried in chips. Thanks, Jeff. How's it going? Yeah, I need my own red shirt, Sean, but one that like doesn't destroy stuff. I don't think I trust him with the CNC. No, the ice picker project. Yeah, I mean things get lost in the. I finished that project when I was just about to move from my house to another house 6 hours away, and um, it kind of got lost in just like I have the stuff to do it, but then I was moving and trying to like also work and do all this stuff. But I do have plans to make it just because I don't even know if he needs it anymore. I talk to him every so I'll send like Jimmy like texts on machines and stuff, so we just like keep in contact. But I do want to finish that project because I am really bad at doing part ones and never doing part twos. Hello from Denmark. Hello. Yeah, I should make a part catcher. They just kind of dink off the side, but they're not denting, so that's nice. Maybe a little pneumatic assisted one. I need to dig into the machine and see if there are like extra solenoids. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about that, about like auxiliary things, but there is an auxiliary button, and it doesn't do anything. I don't know what it does. Also, yeah, people have questions about the machine and stuff. Like, definitely ask, but there isn't a whole lot going on, and I've pretty got everything, I don't know, figured out, sort of. Use the robot arm. Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking about it because I just think that would be so cool. It's definitely strong enough. It just would be kind of nerve-wracking, but I might try it out. I rent my shop space for now. I do. The plan always in the back of my mind is to, one, maybe at some point build a house and then build a shop. Um, so that's like the end game is house, shop, big enough shop on my property to have stuff like this. But renting right now, and it's a cool place, and there's cool people around. So I'm pretty cool with it. Yeah, I could leave it. I just ended up parting it off, and that's just been the way it is. But they're fine down there, just sitting in the chips. I'll dig them out. Uh, it actually leaves like also the, I want to call it a sprue, but it's not called a sprue. At the end, it is like 2 millimeters because it's brass and it just kind of pops off. So I would have to leave a pretty big, I don't know how big that is. Yeah, it's 2.2 millimeters. Um, so yeah. Yeah, you never really forget to do them, do you? They just don't ever end up happening. M48 and M49 will be your friends. Even on this, let's consult the manual. So I was looking at this, but I didn't see any auxiliary. See, it just goes M32, chuck bypass off, and then it goes to M98 and M99. So it might be too old, um, but I would love to be wrong. Well, I'd love to have any sort of knowledge. Yeah, I've always got plans for more persistence of vision stuff. Um, it's just so funny. Like I need to put them on display somewhere in public because they're just so hard to film. And they look cool in person, and they look cool in video, but you do have to do video tricks just to get around like the refresh rates and things like that. So I have a couple ideas for some persistence of vision stuff. Um, maybe combining projectors as well, because that opens up a lot of other things you can do if you think about it. But I'm not going to spoil anything. Hello, all the nerdy peeps. Yes, hello to all my nerd friends who just enjoy cool things. Jumping the gun there. Yeah, it's working just fine somehow. Um, it could not tomorrow. It could not later today, but it is right now. And I do need to do a few things. Like a lot of people commented, I got to check the brushes and the servos, which I know I said steppers in the video, and I apologize. But these are servo motors controlling. Um, so there's actually brushes in those that can wear out, which would be terrible. So I'm going to check those. I think I may even have like a maintenance schedule for the machine that might have been followed. Um, and what I don't think I mentioned this, but the power supply in it did stop working one day, and I diagnosed it. I figured out that there's a 24-volt line and a 5-volt line that runs this stuff. The 24-volt line was sitting at 21 volts, so it would turn on and then immediately turn off because it would detect the low voltage. So I was like, oh great, machine's done, I can't make the video. Managed to find a power supply nearby for a really good price. It's $400. Then I came in the next day and it started working again. It's been working ever since. So it's going to die, but I've got the spare backup. And then when I swap them out, I can recap the old one. And then it'll be probably good as new, and then keep doing that. Yeah, the robot arm's right here. It's not powered on right now. So I could turn the camera briefly. Watch me mess the whole stream up. There it is. A little. Uh, yeah, the vibe of this machine is incredible. I just obviously love the like simple CRT green text. I mean, the versions before I think just had a 7-second display, and then apparently the versions before that just had 7 LEDs. Let's see. I'm building a small granite CNC. Cool. So is it like 100%? Where's the granite in it? That's that's really cool. I've seen people like fill their machines with what is it, like epoxy and stone or something, in the steel frames to make them a little more rigid. Well, not a little, a lot. After this bar is done, remind me to clear out some out of the chips there, and then I can advance the conveyor. I actually used the conveyor yesterday. It said in the video that I'd never use it, and I used it a week later. Thanks, Ivan. Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. I need to polish well, it's covered in chips right now and grime, because it's actually sucking up more grime out of the tank, the stuff that I wasn't able to clean up. But from all the use, it's all dulled, and I need to clean the window. Let's see. Yeah, it's so hard to machine shops. It's so difficult. I can't do like I would never be able to do that. Like every minute that your machine isn't running, you're losing money. If you break your tool, like you know, a couple hours early, like you account for that. Everything is accounted for. Um, so it's just too much. You're just like riding that line to be the most efficient and the cheapest shop. It's unfortunate, but that is the industry, and that's why they exist, to have parts made in an affordable way. I'm doing good. Hello to everyone from India. It is really fun. It's also nerve-wracking when when it's your own machine that you don't want to destroy, but it is fun for sure. I mean, you don't want to destroy someone else's machine either. Yeah, the robotic arm needs to make an appearance. Yeah, it's been friendly so far. I mean, there were these cobots. They're not perfect. Um, the companies, I mean, I was just talking to my friend the other day about this. They will eventually do something unpredictable, like actually unpredictable. And it will just remind you that it could hurt you pretty badly. So there was it didn't actually hurt me, but when I was moving it around and I had one of the joint locations, it got just a little bit too far where it wasn't able to calculate the proper joint location, and it just does a sudden, like, rapid 1 inch movement at almost full speed. And that just, yeah, that just gives you a little reminder to be aware of what's going on. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So Universal Robots, they were like, I'm guessing they were the leader, but yeah. Obo definitely didn't steal anything from that. Granite plates on the base, columns, and gantry. Okay. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like incredibly flat, I'm guessing. Yeah, definitely. And if anyone isn't in the Discord, go into the description, join the Discord. It's public, and people like to share projects and questions, and it's like growing, and I try to push it as much as possible because that is the best way to ask me questions and ask other smart people questions. Oh, not me, people smarter than me. Um, and that is, yeah, so anyone here isn't in Discord, you should be, but I'm guessing lots of you are. I've been using it so much for communicating with people as well. Yeah, it was, I've always wanted my own CNC machines, um, especially like milling machines and things like that, which I just have the small one, but I built a CNC machine when I was in high school. I was 17. It was like really difficult to get the right parts back then, or at least to know. Research was a lot harder. I built this crappy little thing that moved but never really cut anything. I think I cut some cardboard on it. And I brought it to my friend, who, John Grimsmo, if any of you know who that is. I brought him my crappy CNC. And I wouldn't say it inspired him to start. He would have probably done that anyways, but it definitely got the ball rolling. So if anyone doesn't know who John Grimsmo is, just check him out. He's got like an incredible CNC machine shop, and he makes amazing knives and pens. And yeah, I started all that, right, John? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, like thanks for saying it's one of a kind. I try to be as unique as possible. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the funny thing is when you get a machine, you're just like, I need to cut something on, I need to make something, and you don't know, and then eventually, you don't know how you got away with not having it. This is good. I probably won't get through all these today because they take 2 minutes 50 seconds and then about 10 seconds, let's say, to put a new one in. So 3 minutes, so 10 hours to do 200. And I'm just doing it periodically through the week in between meetings and doing other stuff. Uh, so this is fun. I like doing this. Maybe I could jump on again tomorrow, but we'll see. Yeah, in-house R&D is definitely an interesting place to work. Um, it's really difficult to think about budgets at that stage, that's for sure. So it often gets overlooked. SL-25, yeah. So that's just is that just a bigger one or newer? I could, yeah, I could make the robot arm do that. I do have a little gripper. Let me grab it. So I'm borrowing this robot arm from a friend of mine who does also really cool stuff. Um, but this is a gripper he made, I think. It's just pneumatics. Probably perfect for stock. Yeah, that would be perfect. I don't know if it would. Yeah, it should be able to hold on to that. So maybe at some point I'll try that out. It could even, but the cool thing is because it's a cobot, you can even have it press the start button, right? So it can do it all. It can just be your assistant in the water. Empty CNCs. Nice. What kind of laser do you have on that? Yeah, the arm moving around is it's really interesting to see how it calculates the different joints. I think that's what you're talking about. USB to RS-232. Let me grab it. Changed my mind. It's still connected to the machine. I don't want to take it off while it's running. Okay. So it's just a simple generic USB to RS to serial, and it's this machine's set to 4800 baud rate, but it was 96, but I was debugging stuff, so I changed it down and never changed it back. But then it just I had to debug some driver issues and download some Windows stuff. Probably tweet out on Twitter. Yeah, it definitely needs to be optimized a little bit. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Robot. Um, that was a really cool show, and the creator was really a cool guy as well. What other cyberpunk stuff? It's a good question. Um, Nothing like that I would just recommend off the top of my head, but I mean all the yeah, I don't know. Just the whole vibe of it and making my own stuff, but yeah. So the little one didn't come from the I don't want to say that tag. Um, it was mine was literally made out of pipes and cutting boards, plastic cutting boards with all thread and steppers, and then I screwed a Dremel to it. Like it was literally like walk into a hardware store and build your CNC machine. Uh, and now, yeah, he's got a Kern, and he just got a Speedio, And everyone here should go and check out his channel if you like machining stuff. Oh, and see, look at this. Need a better rake angle on the cutter um, so that I get chips and not the threads, but they're actually not clogging up, and it's kind of nice. Yeah, everyone go check out John Grimm's mill. He's real nice. There is a little knob at the end. How I can justify that? Well, let's see. So when I was cutting this off, I'm trying to cut this last little, there's like a little round over at the end of the handle. And for whatever reason, Fusion wasn't doing that unless I offset the parting tool to get down there. And then in order to do that, it had to be extended off from where you're parting it, and for whatever reason, that leaves a little nub on the end. And that's okay, because I just touch that nub to the thing and it gets spaced off. Could I make two at the same time? It would be, I mean, probably. It's sticking out pretty far. I've always heard the rule is like 3 times the diameter of distance out without needing like some sort of support on the end. I obviously don't follow that all the time, but it could get some like chatter or something. I think it was sticking that far out, so I'm just doing one. Yeah, the old coolant in this was awful. I don't even want to think about it. I still have it and need to get someone to pick it up. It was just completely like coagulated, disgusting stuff. And I hope that doesn't happen again. It doesn't smell too bad. I think machine shops in general, I don't like the smell. I might run, because I'm not running this 24/7, I might run a little carbon filter on it and just have a really low pressure fan. Also, if this camera drops out, it's running on battery right now. So I might have a low pressure fan to just draw through a carbon filter, and I think that would work really well. Looks like a DJ. Yeah, I got the headphones on. Start a machine shop. No. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of work, and then all you're doing is machining, and then you don't even get to play with the machines because they're running all the time. You're like, oh, I want to make this cool part, but that machine's got to run for another 40 hours. So that's really cool if that's what you like, but it's just not what I want to do. Okay, now collect these so they don't get lost. Trying to cut my hand on the chips. We'll keep running them for a bit. What time is it? Oh, 2. So we can stream them for an hour. And I have an old school parts washer that I'll wash all these off with. It's funny how they'll get lost in the chips. Physically can't see them sometimes. Well, we're getting there. Still got lots of stock over here. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I get 11 from the stock, but I don't have one off the end that I still need to do. Move this. Always do that. You got to be on this memory thing to run the program. The one below it's edit, so you can edit the program, but this one you need to be on there. And a little funny story, I haven't fallen behind here. A little funny story about this. This key lets you edit things, called the edit key or the edit walkout or whatever you want to call it. So when it's in this position, straight up and down, you can't edit things and the program will run. If you turn it to edit, the program won't run and you can change things. I came in one day and the thing wasn't doing anything. It wasn't, it also wasn't running and it wasn't letting me edit. So I was like, what the heck is going on? So I had it turned and it just happened to just think in my head, wow, that key felt a little bit strange. So I turned it and it turns out if I turn it too far, it goes into some other state where it's neither edit or not edit. So it doesn't let you do anything. So I just have to turn it so it's 90 degrees and it works perfectly fine. But if I turn a key like you would any key where it goes and stops, no, machine wouldn't run. So something like that could like completely make a machine end up in like a scrapyard. Some simple thing like that if it doesn't get debugged. Just somehow I realized it. Yeah, there'll always be a nub and it touches and then the first facing takes the faces and takes the nub off at the same time. Coolant am I using? Just some, I think it's called Kodiak or something. It's some brand. It might be a Canadian brand. I'm not sure. And yeah, I think it's just general purpose coolant. And it's kind of brown because unfortunately there was still a bit of stuff in the basin, even though I tried to clean it all out. So probably next time I do a changeover, it will be slightly less brown, and the next time slightly less, and then we'll see. Just going to post to Twitter and see if people know about my stream there. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should, because I like to post fun stuff on there. It's true. Don't turn your hobbies into jobs, but also make sure you enjoy your job. So, my hobby is collecting hobbies and not doing them. So I don't worry about that. No, it's just that I'm, it's that so I'm going past to do that little radius. It's just a thing. I could probably dial it in on Infusion. It was just kind of like an annoying thing, but I wanted to get that final radius with the tool, but then it needed a wider space than the size of the parting tool. So let's say the parting tool was 2 millimeters. I needed 2.5 millimeters just because that's like what the program was doing. So then when I go to part it off, I could probably move the parting tool over that 0.5 millimeter, but I just didn't, and it left the nub, and I just never changed it, and it's just not a big deal. Like, it's like 0.5 millimeter or something. Stuck with you? Yeah. It's kind of true. I mean, well, it's making entropy as well. Chips are going all over the place. It's interesting, but it definitely does bring order in, in the non-traditional sense of the word, or balance, I should say. Greetings from Spain. Hello, Victor Taichung. Cool. I absolutely love all the comments. People saying, I used to work on this machine, or I have this machine, and then I look them up, and it's just like, every machine is so different. It's incredible. Like, these were never, it seems so strange to me that, like, yeah, they were mass produced, but they had different controllers or different branding, or there's just like so many different old school machines out there. It kind of blows my mind. Hey, thanks. Greetings from the Netherlands. How's it going? Yeah, I like to do it all. Programming's like further down on my skill set. I can do it, but I'm not like a hardened programmer. Um, so I know enough to get by. Greetings from Greece. Hello. Hello, human. Are you not a human? Or are you just saying hello, fellow human? Perco VMX6. You currently work with them? Hello to everyone in Brazil. Very cool. I love that this camera in there hasn't really got no chips on the lens or none that I can see. Really crappy old webcam, but I had I had my old, my old DSLR that I don't care about. I had it in there, but I couldn't get the HDMI out for it to work for some reason. Oh, greetings from Germany. Hello. You're in Alaska? Nice. So my sister lives in Yukon, um, and has the dog sled too. You'll probably see yours getting made, but I haven't done any like I haven't planned on doing any sort of like numbering or thing on them. I've thought about it. We'll see. Um, if there if there was like a ton of them sold, I was thinking of like maybe getting a laser engraver or something. Um, but that we're not at that quantity yet, unfortunately. Yeah, I've thought about doing some keycaps. Well, actually, I really want to make my own keyboard because I enjoy mechanical keyboards. But I found this cool chip that makes you not need a Arduino, and I've been sitting on it for a couple of years. Um, so I might do that at some point. Yeah, I could. You're right. I could use paster strainer. That's smart. I was thinking I could 3D print a puller. It might get worn out pretty quickly, or I'd be worried. I don't know, just not being strong enough. But yeah, that's true. That would be way faster than me like machining one. I always have to remember to take my foot off the pedal when I'm moving that. Not that anything bad could really happen because it's like a collet chuck, but I could pinch my finger maybe. Yeah, definitely could be a Pertini job. That was one of the things I was thinking of. I really want to make my own injection molding machine, though they're becoming more available on like Alibaba and stuff, like the small desktop ones. So that CNC would be really good for making injection molds, and that's something I wanted to try. But doing the whole machine would also be fun. Greetings from Austria. Hello. In France. All over the world. I wish I was checking all these off. I CAD modeled it and then used Fusion to do the CAM processing. So I did not do this by hand. It's something that maybe I could do now that I've been reading the documentation and stuff, but still wouldn't trust myself that much. Circular keycaps, yeah, for sure. Hello from Brazil. Yeah, that's true. I always have to remind myself when something breaks, it's more likely, well, not in the case of tooltips or something, but if it breaks, or if it's just 3D printed, like how much damage could it do? Probably not that much. YouTube doesn't really um, finance my stuff. One day it might. It kind of used to when I was doing Kickstarters. It would be a really good boost. But I honestly haven't done a Kickstarter like since my channel has grown quite a bit. So what I do is contract engineering. So I take on builds on a job by job basis, and that's what funds my project. But I'll slowly, now that I've got the shop kind of in order, I'll slowly do more on YouTube, and that's my goal. So everyone that's been around since the beginning, I've obviously been posting a lot less. That's going to change, and I just got to get my schedule a little bit better. This machine can't auto feed, but what I was saying is that you can get, I call them passive auto feeds, I don't know, but you can get an auto feeder that goes on the tool changer there um, and grabs the stock just like with a spring or a clamping force, or like a passive clamping force, pulls it out, and then runs the program again. So that's probably something I'll make. One thing I don't like, but it's probably a good thing anyways, is that when I was like messing around with the machine, the way oil constantly is putting out oil. So if I'm just like sitting here programming it while it's on, it's just like you just see the oil like running down into the tank. But I'm sure that's, in the long run, I'm sure that's a good thing. Um, no, so the feed is fully in the memory, in the bubble memory of the machine. Um, I haven't tried drip feeding it yet. Yeah, I think even like some of the newer ones even have like a hydraulic or a pneumatic catcher that flips out to catch it and then flips back in. Something like that would be pretty easy. But again, I don't know if I have like auxiliary outputs on this. Nice. Watching on your lunch break. Sweet. What kind of parts are you making? All right. Did I go to college university? Yeah, I went to university. I did something called a Bachelor of Technology in my undergrad, and then I did my master's in mechanical engineering. But most of the stuff I learned, I learned a lot of stuff just from taking things apart and learning on my own. Uh, School definitely gave me that opportunity to do that more, though. My favorite YouTuber channels? Oh, there's so many. Are you thinking like, I don't watch too many engineering style videos because I'm not sure. But I like to watch a lot of videos where people like get old cars running or like find a car in a field and get it running. And I'll put that on while I'm working. And it's kind of like relaxing to me, or like people using excavators and stuff. Sounds strange, but it's very relaxing for me to see like other people doing that kind of work. Yeah, I was worried about that oil in the coolant, but I don't. I have a feeling I'll be replacing this coolant sooner than later, anyways, because it still has some of the old crap in it that made it go brown. As much as I tried to clean it out, um, I'll probably have to do that again, but it won't be so bad the second time because the first time it was just all bacteria and gross. But also, this oil shouldn't go rancid because it's synthetic, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Best state or city in the U.S.? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. I'm in Canada. I wouldn't even know in Canada either. I would say probably somewhere in southern Ontario where I am. In the USA, probably like somewhere in the Midwest, but and somewhere. Hmm, yeah, I'm not sure on that. Somewhere where power is inexpensive and the weather isn't too crazy. If you're trying to do really high precise work, precision work, where you're trying to temperature control your building and stuff like that. So I would know that. So I can just maybe add a skimmer. That's something I'll look into then. The other question I had for all these machines people out there, uh, I wish this machine had like a hose attachment so I could clean off all the chips and everything. But I can't think of the easiest way to mount that on there, or like use the coolant to spray around. Because yeah, the brass chips are pretty sticky and pretty hard to clean in there, and I don't just want to blast it with air and get them wedged in every single way and crevice. I would upgrade the controller if I absolutely had to. If the machine stopped running to the point where fixing it didn't make sense, or I couldn't find a part, or it was just insanely expensive, then I would definitely spend the time to upgrade it. So I'll probably never scrap it, um, unless it's like something happens to the cast iron, or like, you know, something mechanical unfixable. Yeah, the Will It Run videos are just, they're very fun. Um, and the people are, I watch a guy named Puddin's Fab Shop, and he like lowers vehicles and like gets like old like trucks and things like that. And he's a really funny character, and he's great on camera. And I think that's really important as well. So he's up there, and like I really enjoy his content. If you like that kind of stuff, you might enjoy that. Puddins. Let's see, where are we? Clean the stump is important. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not too difficult to clean. It's just I might put wheels on the conveyor because the conveyor is really hard. It's not really hard. It's just quite annoying to remove, and the conveyor's in the way of getting underneath. I even questioned putting it back in, but it's so big it just takes up space in the shop. So, and it's been nice. The conveyor's actually been working out pretty well. It's just like you think you'd be able to be like put something in the coolant that would also coolant but not destroy stuff. But I guess anything that like bleach or something is going to corrode metals. So that's interesting. How did I find it? I just found it online, and then I went to go look at it, and it was in a barn, minus 15 degrees Celsius. And I knew I had to get it. Ugh, that fish smell. I hope that doesn't happen. The old stuff didn't smell like that. It just smelled weird. Yeah, so there's a pedal down here that opens the hydraulic chuck. It pulls the hydraulic chuck back so that the teeth open, and I can pull it out, and then I press the pedal again, and it closes back down on it. And otherwise, I would not be able to move it. You have a Mori Seiki. Cool. Adapter from a tool holder to a rubber hose. Okay. I thought about that. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I would just have to push it on every time. Um, because otherwise the hose is just all wrapped up. Okay, cool. Maybe there's like some magnetic way I could do it or something too. Stuff made here is amazing. I love his stuff, and his vibe, and he's humorous. Um, yeah, I enjoy learning things from his videos. Simple Green or Dawn. Okay. Yeah, it'll definitely be easier the next time I do it. The first time I cleaned it out, I was like, wasn't even really running the machine. I don't think I had it powered up. That was a big issue. Yeah, that'd be cool. I haven't ever machined Damascus, but that would be really cool. How do I come up with my project ideas? Uh, in the 30 minutes before I fall asleep, I can't fall asleep because I'm thinking of so much stuff. Um, I'll just, I'll just have an idea, or I'll see something and I'll try and expand on it, or I'll have like a concept, and then the concept will expand into something. I'll often go into a project with this big extravagant idea, and then you scale it back as you're trying to make it work. So that often defines how the project turns out. Yeah, Willy Wonka golden ticket. That'd be cool. Yeah, cool to just do a gold one, but I don't think machining gold would be very fun. How does it know where to start? Okay, so I pull the stock out, it touches the tip of the machine runs, does all the stuff, and then it puts that tool exactly where it began. So then I slide the stock out and I touch it to that again, and it knows it doesn't know anything, it just starts going from there again. Yeah, take it to visit the shop. I mean, if people are in the area, I'm often not opposed to people stopping by because it doesn't happen very often. I may change that tune of that if it's like someone every hour, but like once a month. Oh, interesting. There is like on the back of the tool changer, there is like a valve. It just looks like a plumbing valve. I've never turned it. I'm guessing it's the line from the coolant. I could maybe put a T off that. Um, that's interesting. I just also don't really want to mess with that too much. But I like the tool change, the tool idea, just having the barb or something, the hose on there. Because if it was just a three-way valve, that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that might be doable. Though I'm not sure if that's what that's for. Did it go anywhere? No. Um, some people, it's a very challenging thing to do, as everyone in the entire world knows. But yeah, it's like it was a project lacking data mostly, and also it's just like one of those things where you either go 100% in or you don't. So I wasn't going 100% in. Yeah, make sure you open the right side. Yeah, like this pump, I think I don't know if it's hydraulically driven. It's buried way back inside of this. Um, and saw something dripping over there, but just some liquid of some sort. So it's really hard to get to. I'm sure I could do it, but you have to remove a bunch of stuff. So I need to look into that. But I don't think it'd be too easy to attach it directly to the pump. So if I could find where the pump runs to, where the lines are, that might be easier. Or I just literally stick a hose down there and set a pump magnet to the inside of here on its own switch that I put on the panel. Do I do that too? That's also totally possible. Um, and then it just sucks from the basin on its own. That's the other option. Especially if it only needs to be low pressure. I'm not spraying splashback everywhere. Yeah, keep it simple. How do I get jobs? I get them from YouTube. When I first started out, I actually did a bunch of jobs for my university. And one of my professors kind of got me started because I built some robotics things as just like a fun experiment I wanted to do. And they actually ended up using them in some labs at their school. So then they would kind of give me odd jobs. Build this, build a lab for this. And it was kind of going in the way like maybe I was going to end up teaching or something, but I wasn't really looking to do that. So, and I need to do more jobs with them because it's kind of fun and like working with the students and things. Yeah, this is fun. It's making the time go by, huh? Every time I hear that water splash, it makes me think something crashed. Yeah, you work with them all the time. That's I love the idea of like the machines just working 24/7, but also it's like they're just doing their thing. uh, I don't. I will listen to music if I'm doing something like packing things, or maybe doing really remedial tasks. If it involves concentrating, making decisions, or reading something, I tend to not listen to music because there's like potential of me messing something up. So then I just like, yeah, I just worry about that. So then I don't do it. It probably is electric. I mean, you're right. It's just in a weird location, and when I was like spinning it by hand, it just felt different. But you're probably right. It's electric. Feels very robust. The pump down there. Doesn't have a separate high and low pressure pump. Do you mean coolant pump or hydraulic pump? To answer your question, I don't know. I know that it has three down in the bottom corner here. There's three gauges, and I think it's hydraulic pressure, and then the two line pressures for the chuck and the tool changer. Um, so they're all operating on solenoids. Yeah, it's amazing what like new students can come up with, and it's pretty fun working with them. I have not tried to get the cameraman to do any of that yet. I'm thinking about it, but also I might just get this run done so that people aren't waiting, and then yeah, and then maybe I'll experiment after. Could also be like a fun little short video. Another one down. Should be 10 in here. Nine, 10. I'll advance the chip conveyor, which is surprisingly useful. I didn't think I would have this many chips, but here we are. Yeah, coolant, I think there's only one pressure. Uh, in the manual, I only saw one. It's the M8 and M9 commands. No high pressure, low pressure. I haven't seen anything, and there's just on here, there's only just, this is the on the coolant and the off coolant. Yeah, that would be nice if there was a low pressure, because when you turn it on, when you have the door open, it goes everywhere. How many people are in the stream? 43? Cool. probably keep going for a bit here. Yeah, these are the Quiet Comfort 2s, I think. I was blown away when I first had them on an airplane. I was actually able to like think. Oh yes, you're right. The tailstock does. The tailstock is sitting on a pallet behind the machine in a few parts, and I have sort of an idea of how it gets connected, but I haven't really looked into it. So that's where I'm at. But I don't know at what point I'll need it. These headphones are noise canceling. Bingo Bongo, how's it going? Good. Cutting some parts. Cutting some parts on the old lathe. I guess I should get something on Instagram also. Everyone say hi if you want to be on Instagram. I almost couldn't see that one down there. Thought it was gone. What are we cutting? We're just cutting brass. We're cutting these little spinner things that if you want to buy, it supports the channel. It's in a pricing tier, so all the $1 ones are gone, $2 ones are gone, $4 ones are gone, $8 ones are gone. You can get them for $16 now. Still worth it. I'm biased, but it's still worth it. If you look at those ones from Inception, they sell for like $50. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you want one, it directly supports the channel. So if you go to the link in the description, that that will take you there, or you can see on the screen there, Space-Time Spinner. My story. We are cutting some chips, doing a live stream. Come join. I'll put the link here. I have three-phase here. I have 600-volt three-phase. It's amazing. I'm never going to want to leave. My Bridgeport runs on, it has the original 600-volt pancake motor. Right, low. Oh, yeah, so it's not super low. Still probably more than a garden hose. How much work is it? I don't know. It can't do as much right off the bat. Like as a modern one, but I'd say the workflow is still comparable, in my opinion, depending on what you're cutting. I mean, it's much easier to add G-code to a modern one and modify it because you got a keyboard. Length diameter ratio over 4-ish. Okay. Yeah. Always heard 3, but that's good to know. I never listened to that, but I tried to. And it's so, I'd say it's so big in there, but then you realize this doesn't really have that much travel, so is it really going to get in the way on most operations? Doesn't look like it. Banana. How's the machine been coming along? You see it here. It's working just great. It's almost still got a bit of grime on it that I just didn't feel like getting to, but at least the front is clean. And everything seems to be working. The memory, I need to do some little maintenance things that people tell me to check out, but you know how it is. Get to it eventually, hopefully before something happens. Yeah, I think if I ever moved my shop, I'd end up having to use a converter. But yeah, definitely lucked out. There's a ton of power here, and each unit has like huge, huge lines coming in. It's pretty cool. Finger ring factory. Yeah. Hey Tom, how's it going? Yep, we could. Oh, the camera stopped. I just have to change the battery. Hopefully it comes back. Or maybe it overheated. Who knows? Probably overheated. The battery feels pretty warm. And stick it on the charger when it's super hot. The Machinist? Yeah, it's a cool movie. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It seems pretty accurate, but I haven't done any real measurements. Um, just not real measurements. Chuck's tool holders, tool length. Yeah, just like, okay, now I've got this drill in here and there's not enough room to spin it around. The chuck gets very close to touching as it slips around there. Got like a couple millimeters. Thanks, Lester. Glad you enjoy them. Yeah, this machine is definitely like a dream for me. Um, it's not like a dream that was created when I saw it. I always wanted some cool machinery, uh, the Bridgeport and the lathe on the other side especially. But this one just kind of came up and the opportunity was there, and here we are. Focus. Manual focus lens. Hey, Mike. Yeah, left-handed does have its advantages. Just not if you're using scissors. How many am I making? I'm making 200 in this batch. There's been, I think, about 180 or so sold. And then if more people buy them, I'll do another run. What was it used for? I couldn't tell you, but I did find some chips that looked like steel. So it was cutting steel. At least those are the ones that got caught up in the conveyor belt. Cut my finger yesterday on it. So I washed that out really good because apparently the coolant with the bacteria is not really great for cuts. And yeah, so it was probably cutting steel parts. There was a program on here. It said 2017, so I'm guessing that's when the program was last loaded. So not crazy. Wasn't sitting in the barn for too many years, but longer than you want. Should also probably check these and make sure they're actually cutting. I have a right, yeah. The call chuck is really nice, and I'm really happy with it so far. Um, and then the other chuck I have has teeth blanks that I just cut. I have so many blanks, it's crazy. I'll never use them. And yeah, and they stick out quite a bit, so I can see why that would be a little bit more nerve-wracking. How do you ship so many? I have a bit of experience with shipping a large number of packages myself. I shipped about 5,000 fidget spinners back when fidget spinners were big. And I did that myself. I think maybe it's 3,000. You just pack them up, you drop them off in the post office or wherever you're shipping them from. Probably would have been worth it to have someone do it for me, but 200 won't be that bad. I'll get it done over a couple of days. So I could get a company to do it, but maybe I will. Maybe someone will reach out. So I use Fusion 360 to do CAD and the cam. I pay for the subscription. They don't give it to me. It's not like endorsed or anything. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's good enough. I have a lot of experience with CATIA, which I don't know if CATIA did cam. I'm sure they had cam plugins and stuff. But then I went to Fusion after my school licenses and stuff were gone. So yeah, try Fusion out or try Onshape. See, they're all like, I think Onshape's like fully browser based. Yeah, it works well enough. Got any issues making these? No, I like tweaked the design a little bit, just so it made more sense with like the stock and everything. And yeah, I wish I didn't have the nub on it, but that's just a property of. It'd be cool if I could do it in one process, but not possible. At least not with this machine. If I had another machine that could grab onto the part right before parting it. Yeah, idle hands, not idle. This is, that's normal. like my hands being idle. 6T lathe had magnetic reed switches on the tool turret. One failed. Oh, that's scary. Interesting. I don't know what kind of reed switches are on this one, but I can see that happening. Yeah, 2017 doesn't feel early, but definitely was. It's awesome. Great, great hearing when your videos help people out. Let's just say I got to know the people at the post office very well. And I was also shipping my US packages, because I live in Canada. I was shipping my US packages in the US because it's much cheaper. And it was about an hour and a half drive. So I also got to know the Border Patrol very well. And it was kind of a smaller border, and they thought it was kind of funny what I was shipping. I can't believe the stream's still working. No live tool capabilities. I'm sure you could, I don't know, maybe use the coolant to clamp something. That's about it. I am making spinners, and there is still a greater than 120 to go. So haven't made too many. Yeah, you can you can cut the outside, or you can have a tool. There's one in here where you will bore it out first, like a drill, and then you can cut the inside as well. It's called a boring tool. I don't have one here, but yeah, you can do the inside of parts as well. Though a cup shape would be hard to do in one motion because uh, you need to cut the center. It'd be difficult, probably doable. I haven't tried doing bar pulling yet. I might buy or make a simple gripper that goes in the tool post, goes in the tool changer. Oh, those guillotines are cool and terrifying. I love watching those just cut like a thick stack of paper. Did I make the cameraman? No, the cameraman was made in China, I think. And it's pretty fun. It's not mine, it's a friend's, but I'm just borrowing it. And I might try some fun things with it, like maybe welding. Spinner house. I hope that's not what it stands for. No more spinners. I mean, yeah, you can do manual controls. There's like a wheel here, and it will give you really, really accurate output. Um, so absolutely you can, but you can only do one axis at a time with the wheel. Even with anything, you can only do one axis at a time. So you could face and then skim. You People generally don't do that, but you will. So say I'm putting a new tool in, I'll manually cut it, measure, that'll give me the offset of the tool, I'll enter it in. So yeah. I'd say I've made, I just did that math. I'd say I've made, let's say 70. And that would mean that there's, to ship, I need to do another 110, but to use the rest of the material, I need to do another 130. And we're going to see if the machine lasts that long. It will, but there's always the question. Could I mass produce them? Yes. I doubt I will, but there's always that possibility. The market determines, right? Used to make them from Delrin? Oh, cool. Yeah, I need to just have a bunch of Delrin in my shop. That's something I'm always wishing I just had on hand. I've got a lot of raw stock, but I just need to get buy like a bin of it from some place that closes. That's a good idea. The gripper, you probably have like a video or something, but are they like the spring-loaded ones that like roll over and then grip sideways, or are the ones that go on from the front and just kind of friction fit? No live tooling on this. I wish. You always wish there's more abilities and features, but it's does a good job. Yeah, it's quite a few. Um, it's definitely an experiment in doing some mass production on it, or small, low quality production. And I'll say it again to anyone here. There's a link below for the Discord and my Twitter. Those are the two places I love interacting with people in. So definitely follow me there and join the Discord. And we've been having lots of fun discussions. And we'll probably do a couple more bars, and then we'll call it a day on the stream, and maybe we'll jump back in again, or if I have some left to do on the weekend, then maybe that'd be a good time for people to see a stream as well. Break even on the lathe? I could do that math. Probably I think 500 would probably get close. The robot? I'll show you in a sec. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And then you would use Delrin. Oh, okay, interesting. Um, yeah, I thought about just like doing that hacksaw idea. Uh, but one thing I was worried about is when the stock is first put in, the weight of it kind of adds a little bit more friction of it hanging down. So I was worried that it might fall out. But I guess that would just be some trial and error. Also, maybe it would hold it straighter. The robot is right there, just hanging out. And we've got lots of spinners. The robot is not feeding the stock. It might in the future, but right now I just wanted to get them done for the people that ordered them. I'm not using a spindle liner. Do you mean in the chuck? So there are some liners in the chuck. I think they have either worn out or are just like they're made out of plastic or something. Um, you can kind of see them, but they're not doing so hot. Still seems to be working though. I'll grab one of them. I was wondering about that because the liner would keep it centered, right? So there's little rubber bits between them, but they seem to be not so much there anymore. They're in here, but they're not in the actual inner side. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll probably get new ones. Ah, I see. We were talking about something else, but yeah. Well, from rustling. Cool. Making videos is a lot of work for what I do. I probably put too much work into my videos, but I enjoy making them. I enjoy pretending to be, well, being a filmmaker on YouTube, a short film. So this is definitely not more work. This is more remedial. Could listen to music. Could tidy up. You get 3 minutes every time you put one in. Do something else for 3 minutes. Um, yeah. Also, these parts of the stock is only a foot long, um, just because that's what I got them cut down to. The robot would probably just smash the computer, and there would be no chat. But that would be fun if it had access to a physical keyboard and screen. Yeah, interesting on the liner. There might be something in there. I haven't looked, but it hasn't interfered with the stock that I have. Um, I have about a foot to the wall. Oh, there's another one. Another one done. There's the stock. Only just 1 foot lengths, because why not? Since I'm the bar puller anyways. Um, but yeah, interesting on that. Fit inside the spindle draw tube. Cool. Ah, interesting. I would have to see what you mean. I can kind of picture it, but I haven't. Um, yeah, I got a cover on there. Right now, it's just like a metal tube on the end of the spindle draw tube. Yeah, I thought, yeah, drill a hole, or I do have room to move the machine over, but then it gets a little bit tight for pulling the, the conveyor out, but not so tight that I couldn't move it over maybe like another foot or so, but that's not going to help anyways. I could see a hole being put in if I was really doing a lot. This machine's the warm-up process, which I sort of followed, but not really. I think it's about an hour, and it's like 500 RPMs for 20 minutes, 1,000, 1,500, something like that. So it's about an hour of warm-up on the spindle with different RPMs. Hello to the Netherlands. How's it going? We'll see about the serial number. We will see. It depends. I need to figure that out. No promises. I want to figure it out. I said if I sold a whole bunch of them, I was gonna pick up one of those desktop laser engravers that are really quick. But we're not at that point yet. But I'm working on it, so we'll see. There might be something on it. I wanted to have some sort of link to the video, right? You know, if it gets lost, um, someone finds it somewhere and it's got engraved on it, that'd be cool. And they could search that number. I'm making this run is about 200. I got enough stock for 200. So not crazy. 1,000 would be a lot. 1,000, I'd probably get the robot to do it. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering about. Sorry, jumping around on questions here. Yeah, the 1 foot works fine. Easy to load in. I thought about doing 2. Didn't make much difference. But if I was pulling them out, that would be really nice. And however long I could get them in from this side, so I could probably get in probably close to maybe 4 feet or 40 inches or so, and slide it in this way. So if I get the bar puller, yeah, that would be awesome. Because then 40 inches, I could get just probably under 40, around 38 of them. Um, much faster. We just do it all day. I think that would be a fun project doing the bar puller. But the Delrin idea sounds way easier. It's not even much. Yeah. I never hung out at Interaccess. If I did, I didn't know it was called that. Actually don't know what that is. I would go to like, what's it called? The night art show things. Those have been fun. Can't think of the name right now. Yeah, definitely scary. There's no switch on the door, but the scariest thing from this point is the machine crashing. I'm pretty safe. Um, it would be me misstepping something with the machine running, so I definitely agree. And this tool does have a bit of stringy chips. The old one had one, but the end was kind of worn out. That was in here before, and it was making really nice chips. And now we've got the rake is not correct for this, but keeping it clean anyways. Wow, 20-foot sea container. Okay, that's cool. How'd you score that? And if you have any extra machines, oh no, my camera shut off again. Well, I'm still here, but I'm just changing the camera. I don't know if it overheated. No, I don't think so. I don't know. That one ran out much faster than the other one, so we'll see. Where was I? Oh yeah, sea container. If you have any machines you don't need, let me know. Yeah, that was why I didn't get the longer one. I was wondering if it was going to be thinking around inside of the thing, but the bar liner is something I wouldn't have thought of. Old Graco unit. Not sure what that is. Um, Loading programs isn't too hard, but it's just a little tedious. I'm focusing on bringing out more videos and being more involved on YouTube. Like I was saying, the shop was eating up a lot of my time. It was disorganized. Took me a year even just to even like start doing stuff in it. Uh, and now it's pretty well there. So that void of having to work on the shop will now become YouTube projects. And thank you. That's awesome. Why is the water dirty? Well, the coolant is white when it's agitated. Um, but it's also got some older, so like the white color is normal, but the slightly brown color isn't. there was some older coolant that, or stuff that I wasn't able to fully clean all of it out. So the next time I clean all of it out, it will be even cleaner. I'm just gonna put this battery on. Don't know why this, I'm using my DSLR as a camera, but there's a bit of a delay. And also, it doesn't charge through the USB, or like at least add to it. So, I'm running on batteries right now, because I'm pretty sure I have one of the power adapters for it. I just don't know where it is. So I guess when all the batteries run out, because they're not charging as fast as it's draining, then we'll end the stream. Hello. Welcome. Berlin, Germany. Very cool. Yeah, exactly. Not quite as gooey as the aliens liquid. That always kind of freaked me out as a kid, but more water-like. I wonder what they used in aliens, to be honest. Jet boat engine manufacturing. Cool. Wow, that's super cool. Awesome. 5 hours north of Abbotsford. Very cool. Yes. Yes, you're very lucky. Those, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. When you get those machines, that's definitely some content people would, and myself would want to see. So just join the Discord. What we're doing here, uh, I made a video on this machine, and I'm selling these spinner things just for fun to do a run on the machine. And because of that, I'm cutting them out. So it's what you're seeing now is it doing one of these, and it just popped off and fell into the basin there. And then I'll pull the stock out and run another one. And in the 2 hours, I've probably done, so I can do about, how many can I do? 20 an hour? So maybe I've done 40, probably under 40 because of them chatting. Takes 3 minutes to do one, from start to finish, including my time. So yeah, uh, 3 minutes. Oh, there's probably a delay on the chat. Yeah, 3 minutes to do one, including me pulling the stock out. Why does it take so long? It's not really optimized. I'm being forgiving on the machine. Probably not doing it right. You could probably do it in a minute and have it really nice if you had like all the right tools and the right pathway. That's yeah. No plans for the chips. Right now my chip spin is a little bit assorted, so it's not really got brass and aluminum in it, unfortunately. But it's not very big either. So I don't know what I could do with them. Generally, they just get recycled. Get a little bit of cash for them, but then it buys more stock. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep it going for as long as I can. Greco unit. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool. I thought about, actually, I was just going to hook up a ESP32 to one, and then try and do like Wi-Fi. Um, have it load a browser so I can load programs, um, and then do the transfers that way. So maybe at some point. I wish there was a translate on this. Um, I'm running full speed rapids. Yep, 100%. Um, and the max spindle RPM I'm running with this is 2,000, um, because I'm not on like real proper leveling feet yet, and I get a little bit of vibration in between 2 and like 4. Goes up to 6,000. Um, so once I get proper feet on, I'll be able to run it up, and that would make the parts go way faster, probably. I'm guessing. Machine, I don't know. It was probably just in. It was from a place near me called Kitchener. It was manufacturing there, so it was just been any plethora of parts. It was making steel parts. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know what. The guy I got it from did actually. He didn't work with this machine, but he worked in the shop, so that's something I could ask. Um, how the old tech works. I have the manuals. I was reading, kind of picking and choosing what needed to read in the manual, um, and having a somewhat of a general idea already. So that's kind of difficult. But I also just enjoy reading, watching videos about this stuff. So I just pick up stuff. So same idea. Watching videos, talking to the right people, reading the manuals. Awesome. Yeah. I thought you were in the Discord, but maybe you just joined. But I thought I recognized your name. Maybe not. Can't wait to see that. Those sound like some cool machines. My background, like education. Um, I don't mind explaining again. I did a thing called Bachelor of Automotive Technology, and then I went on to do my master's in mechanical engineering. And yeah, and then a lot of my own research and learning about building circuit boards, doing stuff like that. So um, and just having a general interest in taking stuff apart my entire life. So these are insert tools, so you can't sharpen them. They break, you replace them. Often so they're indexable, so often there'll be multiple points on one, tips that you can turn around. Um, and yeah, so they're not too bad. You can get higher quality, more expensive ones for doing different materials, but you can also get the ones from Amazon, and depending on what you're doing, might get you by just fine. Yeah, is this slow to you? How fast? How fast would you say this process should be, Marcus? Just curious. It would be good to have a good reference point. I think like a minute would be normal, just because of the internal stuff, trying to do it in one process, but yeah. Hey Robin, how's it going? Good to see you here. How are your projects coming along? The vlogs? I don't think the vlogs will ever come back, but I might put more relaxed stuff on the second channel. So if you aren't on the second channel, you can go there, but I've only put 2 videos. Vlogs were so tiring to do, but they were a great learning experience. Yeah, so you think you're going to break it? That's a very fair thought that everyone has. But see this switch? This determines how fast the machine moves when it's doing rapid movement. Having that basically all the way down to almost 0 is a great start. Um, and as you watch it slowly crash into your piece, you can stop it before anything really bad happens. And the other thing is running it, like I said in the other video, dry running it, not cutting anything, watching it several times, and then finally getting up the courage to cut something. 2 different things. So. Yeah, taking stuff apart and not putting it back together, that was my childhood. I took apart a camera and decided to charge up the flash thing unit with a 9-volt and got a really bad shock. That was a really good memory. Just having bins of things taken apart just to see how they worked. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Industry to do stuff like this? Well, this isn't, I wouldn't say this is small batches. So say you need a brass bushing or something on your car. This machine could have made it. So these were machining real used parts, and they weren't like a small batch prototype environment. This is like a full-on industrial machine. The fact that they're small means you could probably have more of them in your place if you wanted to. And you're not moving around as much weight, so you might be saving electricity. You know, there's so many factors, but it's definitely not a hobbyist level. It's an industrial machine, and it would be churning out parts night and day. And you'd have someone standing there doing it. Yeah, 1 minute max. The tool change, I'm very conservative with. I go all the way back to home. You can see that step just there. That was unnecessary, but I still do that. Yeah, the safe position needs to be way closer, and there's just some unnecessary steps for sure. One minute would be cool. Yeah. Doing 60 an hour instead of 20 an hour is quite a big difference. And I hate that I think about those things when I'm doing large orders and stuff. How small and precise? You could make a coin blank, I guess. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how precise this one is anymore. Yeah, the taser. Wow, it got me good. Like, it wasn't just a shock, it was a jolt. Like my whole arm. Yeah, initially, so if you watched even in the video, I was going way more aggressive, um, but I didn't like the finish it was giving me. So, and obviously I could have done different things to correct that as well. But trying to be nice on the inserts, at least for the initial group, and then we can kind of push it a little bit more. Yeah, that's yours. That was it. Should be there in a couple weeks. Shouldn't say that, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the timeline. It can, yeah, it can make really accurate round things uh, and really accurate holes. Those are the two things it's really good at. And if you want, you can try and make out of round things, but there's a bit of a process to that. Yeah, no worry about the slow response. Come and go as you please, disappear. Totally cool thing. Definitely better than crashing. And when I have, I'm also sorting out, I've got a bunch of tools that I need to like inventory. Um, so when I know like I can break this insert and still have one on hand, then I'll probably be a little bit more aggressive with it. But until I have my inventory figured out. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure you'll figure out those machines no problem. It'll be really interesting to see what's in there, especially if you said it was jet engine equipment. It's got to be some pretty good machines. So I'm excited for you. Hey, Liquid Flames, thank you very much. I also wish I uploaded more often. I think you'll find that I will be. At least that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's definitely the core. Well, I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say. In a machine shop, trying to find that balance between everything. The stock, yeah, that might be happening soon. um, we've been talking about that. I got some good input from, yeah, some other people talking about it. From Watch West Work, his channel, he was telling me about a bar puller that he uses. That sounds pretty easy to make. Yeah, there's like almost no load on the spindle. Um, it basically sits at 20%, or yeah, let's see. Sits at 25% and doesn't move at all when it's cutting. The servos, I need to check their brushes before I. That's something I need to do. There are manuals and stuff on the internet. I have this and some other awesome things for this, which is beautiful and has like cool flip out diagrams and stuff. Look at this amazing book. Super cool. That'll kind of teach you. but there's definitely a learning curve if you're just jumping right into it. I like to imagine the guys that were machinists suddenly having to learn programming, um, being machinists like their whole lives and jumping into CNC in the 70s and 80s. Must have been pretty crazy because they knew, intuitively they knew how to cut things manually, but just think about like now having to programmatively do that now. I don't know. Really cool thought. Oh, cool. Yeah, the robot arm is super fun. I was stoked to play with it. I'm just borrowing it, but I'd never used one before, and it was really neat to see like its capabilities basically. I try to do, yeah, I did try to focus on doing educational things. I've built like simple circuits that students can solder and things like that. I did one on like a neural network robot that was meant for teaching neural networks in kind of like a simplistic way. Yeah, it sits at 25 when it's just sitting there at speed. Um, it obviously jumps up when it's ramping up to that's just a given of the motor. But when it's just sitting there, it sits at 25. Grab these. Eighteen, 19, 20. I definitely need a catcher. We'll advance the conveyor again. There's a couple of things I need to make or build. File that one. It's got a dent in it. No, I'm not running a mixer. It's kind of a haphazardly put together stream. I might put together like a little streaming cart or something where I can control it a little bit better, but I'm surprised it's even tolerable. I asked that in the beginning, and they just said, "Yeah, he can hear you," so that was good enough. Thanks, cats are a conspiracy. I appreciate it. I could probably put a filter on, but I'm just using OBS. I haven't looked into it. Yeah, so like kids will literally rewatch videos over and over and over again. And that's how those videos get so many views. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, you can 3D print whatever you want. Just don't like the people that try to make like a point out of like stuff like that. But you want to do it? Go for it. Yeah, Adam said it was pretty cool. I hope we get to work with him one day. There's a good possibility that I will be able to. It's great watching him just like work in the shop. I want to get to. I'm almost at the point where like every so often I like to test my abilities to just make something with the stuff I have in my shop, and that kind of lets you know like what you're missing, what you need, um, things you should have on hand, things you can go to the store immediately and get. So he's kind of set up his thing like that, where it's his own personal hardware store, and that's where I'd like to be. Yeah, the displays. I've had experience using non-transparent displays, so I kind of knew how to use them, and I knew that they would work in that configuration with 10 of them. Is that what you're talking about? The volumetric display. So yeah, I don't know if like it's always hard for me to put together exactly how I got to this place, but a lot of it is just the fact that I was interested in something, so decided to learn it. I think that's like the number one driver. So like when people say, "How do I get into this?" That's them even asking that question means like you're starting that process, but you often can't be told. You have to kind of see things you like and take things apart and learn things that way. That's at least how I learn. So the robot, yeah, it's just on loan. I didn't I didn't pay $40,000 for it, the robot arm, but the answer would be a lot if I was going to pay for one. I used to make videos that were like more easy to replicate, but I mean, I put out to GitHub. Like, it's it's the ones I put out, like people still, I'd say the same percentage of people are going to make them, whether they're the way they are now than the way they were before. It may not be so cut and dry from just following me on how to make it, but I don't see that as necessarily as a bad thing. It's just like, yeah, it's. I've decided to go down the path of like artistic and storytelling, to be unique and to have a unique audience. And um, yeah, it's just like That's my interest. My interest has always been filmmaking and engineering, so I'm combining the two. Can't believe how well this stream is working. This is fun. It's like I got people here helping me out. Hey, OMFG, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Um, it's kind of both. Do I have a whole world? I have inklings of a whole world. I have a really close friend of mine that I kind of bounce ideas off of, and he's super creative too. Um, and we chat about things, but a lot of it doesn't end up in the story. But I'm starting to develop it more, and a lot of it is go with the flow as the video is made. That was weird. I thought I heard a voice. So yeah, sometimes the video will kind of build itself, and the project will like develop the story itself, and sometimes I'll have it planned out ahead of time. I do watch a lot of other YouTube, but in the sense that I put it on while I'm doing other stuff. The types of things I watch, I don't really watch engineering channels. Um, I like I don't watch them like religiously. Obviously there's a select few that I really enjoy watching, or like things that just pop up in my feed. But for the most part, I watch like videos of, like I mentioned this earlier, like will it run style videos, where like people will get an old car that's been sitting in a field for 20 years running, or videos that can just be on while I'm working, for whatever reason that's soothing in my head. Yeah, no politics stuff. I did go to school. Like I do have my master's in engineering, mechanical engineering. The electronics stuff is all self-taught, but I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near an electrical engineer's level of skill. I know how to build circuit boards. I have a general idea of how to do things. Um, so, yeah, I kind of just keep everything pretty well-rounded in the mechanical and the building, the programming side. Um, and when I don't know something, I learn it. So that's uh, that's kind of how I do things. And I don't know lots of things. Could I? Um, if I designed it, um, yeah. But could I just, off the top of my head, probably not. I'd have to go through the design and the math behind one. Sorry, yeah. Can I mill a cycloidal drive? Today, no. In a week, maybe get started. Would it work? Who knows? Yeah, this is fun. I don't. More people should be in here. I'd say that. Okay, let's see. So the electronics question, that's pretty difficult, but Uh, the easiest project is with electronics is to build a board that can have a microcontroller on it and blink an LED maybe. um, this machine, so my shop has 600 volt three phase, and I have a transformer that brings it down to 208 for this machine. So this is 208 three phase. This channel, it isn't my full-time gig. So it definitely helped to get to where I am, but I would say my full-time gig is contract engineering, and I'm going to slowly work towards making the channel more of a main thing. But it has assisted in getting me to where I am, for sure, no doubt about that. And I'm still surprised that webcam has not been covered in crap, and we're still getting a good picture. It's not too late to order a top. If anyone who hasn't ordered a top, the only thing that would be too late is if it's become too expensive. Um, they're at $16 now, which my biased opinion is that they're not still too expensive. Um, $32 maybe would be too much, but this is the pricing scheme that it shows. Yeah, that's true. It's true. The more tops you order, the more live streaming you get. So maybe I'll live stream the whole, like all of them, or even get the robot going or something in the next one. Um, this has been pretty fun, so I appreciate everyone coming out. And I'll probably do. What time is it? I'll probably do. I'll finish this bar off maybe, and then we'll call it today. And I'll clean up. Graham, Woodness Goodness, what's going on, man? Glad to see you here. If no one is subscribed to Woodness Goodness, he's a good friend of mine. He's got a lot of energy in his videos, and they're really fun to watch, so everyone should check them out. Yeah, Revival YouTube. If I didn't have to work, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be going, finding old vehicles, getting them running, and driving them around. Yeah, so the robot arm, um, just borrowed it from a friend of mine. It's programmed by this. It's running Linux. I think it's just running Ubuntu, touchscreen. And the cool thing is, like, I didn't even realize before, but when it's powered on, you can push this button in, and it relaxes all the motors. So then you can move them by hand if you want, position it. You can do it through here as well, but you can just like program different points, and then it will run through a sequence. You can do like arcs or any sort of thing, and it can also be programmed with Python. I was surprised at how easy it was to get to a point where it's useful. It's definitely cool. I don't know how much longer I'll have it here, but I'm going to do a few more things with it. Probably do some welding, maybe load the machine. You don't need cam, you don't need fusion. It's all built in there, and basically The reason why it's called a collaborative robot is that it's able to be placed in an environment where there are humans around and it can do similar work to the humans. It's not to say it won't hurt you if it hits you, but it will detect crashes. That's part of what it's meant to do. Um, but it's pretty cool. Do you mean on the lathe, the rotating wheel, or just like as an electronics program? Apparently, it's very smoky where I live. There's a lot of wildfires in the north that's going on. Pretty crazy. Um, yeah, I could build a little wheel that made melodies by spinning it. Something that's really cool is like Formula One cars that have a really high pitch, high RPM engines. They make them play songs using their exhaust note, and they'll like play a song as like a fun demo for the engine. Yeah, definitely, it's fun having everyone out here. I'll try and do it more often. Uh, shouldn't shouldn't hurt the channel or anything, and get more people enjoy it, having a chat. No, it's not sold out. So there's tiers. You, a lot of people probably didn't watch the ending, but that's okay. There's tiers. So there was only 10 of the $1. Uh, probably should have put this in more clearly, but you can choose the tier, and right now you have to go down to the $16 tier. And those ones, there's 130 of those left because there's 160 available. And when those sell out, then there'll be $32, which I don't think anyone will buy, but there'll be 320 of them. Shipping is, yeah, too much out of my control right now. I'm sorry. No, they're just fully brass. They, you could damage the tip if you like dropped it down onto concrete or something, so don't do that. But yeah, they're brass, right? The whole thing. Thought about doing another process, but adds a bunch of cost, a bunch of time, and it's more of just a collector item that you shouldn't be smashing on the ground. But you can do whatever you want with it. Like I said, they're not. You're watching them made here. They're not perfect, but they. Supersonic missile. No, didn't do anything like that. Um, the neighbors. No, this is like an industrial. Not industrial, but this is like a business location. So neighbors don't care. They're running loud engines and stuff all the time. Contract engineering is literally anything. So if you, an example is I made these, yeah, it could be anything. It could be a little circuit board. It could be a little spinning top device if you had it, if you had an idea for one, or maybe it's a singular item that you need a prototype for your patent or something. That's the kind of stuff that I do. I am a hardware engineer with software hobby. I don't know anyone that's done that wheel. I was just talking about the engine. If you look up like Formula One car engine song, it will come up. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll look that up. Um, I'm like, I'm building a car where I have like full control over the engine. I thought it'd be fun to make it do something with the RPM control. It's not going to be like a high revving engine like that, but it's running on a system that I can basically do whatever I want. we're starting to ramp down here. Does anyone have any, I don't know how many people are still here, but does anyone have any suggestions maybe for the next stream? I think the camera angle is pretty good. I can't really get it much closer because there's just stuff going everywhere. I think there's only about one left in this, and then we'll call it for today. Yeah, any suggestions for the stream, let me know before we sign off. Thanks to everyone that came out. I'm not leaving yet, but in a few minutes. What else? Yeah, buy a spinner if you haven't. Support the channel. Unfortunately, there's no $1 ones, $2 ones, or $4 ones, or $8 ones. But yeah, that kind of stream would be cool. I've done that before. It's a bit harder. This kind of stream is good because I'm not thinking, I'm not concentrating, I'm not being creative. So I tried to do that in the past, and it did work, but I just found it was very draining to try and design something. I'm totally into trying that again, though. Yeah, I could do a stream on the shop and the location here. But specifically, if I do this, yeah, any input anybody has, that's fine. Yeah, it'd be hard to get in there any closer. I could get I might be able to get my other camera hooked up with a better lens, and then zoom right in. Because in the corner here, not much material gets back here, so surprisingly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we normally don't have wildfires. There's just a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. So all the smoke is making its way down from north of where I am down into the U.S. Yeah, need to look that up. Cool. I'm glad. Yeah, for sure. If I get better, if I get more comfortable with the streaming again, that's something I think I can do. Yeah, doing stuff on the machine definitely possible. It's just worrisome about making a mistake, crashing or something. But I could definitely try and figure that out at the end of that. I just have this cheap work light zip tied to the thing here so that you guys have a nice lit view of inside. Yeah, this was fun. I think that, let's see. Oh, there's another one. We got another 3 minutes. There could be one after that. Who knows? Try not to bang the door too much because the camera's right there. Thanks, Chris. Johnington. Like Paddington. Yeah, I'm surprised the camera's lasted this long. I thought the battery would have been dead by now. But I'll have to get one of the power adapters for it. And maybe I'll have to announce the stream a little bit earlier, but I actually had a really good turnout. I can't do slow motion. I've been wanting to for a long time. Slow motion cameras are expensive. So unless you're doing it for something really specific to the video, it hasn't been worth it yet. I do a little bit of slow motion just with my iPhone. Those don't slow down that much. But I would love to rent one. I have a few projects that I think could be cool. But yeah, I agree. People like those visuals, as long as it's something interesting. Thanks, man. Deepest cut. This is the only thing I've really done on it so far, and it's pretty easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort on the machine's part. Brass is a very forgiving material, um, and yeah. So you're seeing basically the first cuts of my ownership on this machine. Yeah, that's a good question. I think if I was making something really important that I had a lot, or if I had to make a lot of, a new machine would definitely be worth it, and I knew it was gonna pay for itself. But if I had a lot of money and I wasn't making things, I'd probably still be getting the old machines, um, maybe fixing them up a little bit, and I just I just love the idea of like the engineering behind these. I mean, the new ones are pretty crazy too, but the style and all that, keeping them on, not scrapping them, all these things are a factor. Yeah, one more, maybe. Keep saying that. So yeah, I like keeping these old machines going. Um, there's definitely a place for the brand new ones, and I think they're really cool. But even just as a backdrop for my videos, it's perfect. Metal detector, uh, it would be difficult to make one as good as you could buy one for $100. But if you wanted to learn about how they worked, that would be invaluable. But even a cheap metal detector will probably be really like a lot better than what you can make. Um, but there's obviously use cases, like maybe you wanted to make it custom in some way, maybe you wanted to build it into a robot or a car. You know, that would be those would be reasons to do your own. Yeah, if you weren't here earlier, I was talking about my friend John Grinsmo. He has a YouTube channel, and he's got a brand new Kern, and it is incredible. It looks amazing. You can do so much with it, and I think it looks really cool too. And just imagine that machine in 40 years. I don't like. It's kind of interesting to think that way. Um, the capabilities of that machine are incredible, but it, and it probably will last. Who knows? Yeah. Um, cat videos do get a lot of views, but I tend to not. I tend not to play into what gets views. I tend to try and drive my own path. I haven't looked into really any optimization. This is the very first program, um, and then yeah, like like we were talking earlier. I was talking to someone. It could probably be done in under a minute, um, and this is three. So there's definitely room to optimize. But for this first 200, I'll get them done 3 minute cycle. Let's see, is this the last one? Yep, that's the last one for today. I've still got let's see here, this many to do. Make noise. And yeah, that was really fun. Let the machine take a break, even though it doesn't need it. It could run 24/7. And yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out. And grab a spinner if you haven't yet. I know people hate the shipping, but fortunately, shipping is necessary to get from me to you. Yeah, right. The company stops. So I'll finish these last questions up. If anyone had any questions, I'll be jumping off in a couple minutes. Next machine for the shop, really good question. Don't have an answer for you yet. It's really if something comes up that I just can't turn down. But I guess if I was getting into more machining, then maybe a bigger CNC mill of some sort. I like my small one, but it's very small. It's it's good at what it's good at, but there are other things. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's great. I'm glad everyone came out. I might do this again, maybe tomorrow, or actually not tomorrow, but maybe Thursday. We'll see. Just kind of popped up. And we'll try and do more of these things. Thanks. Yeah. All right, everyone. It's been great. See you next time. Bye.